The example I'm going to show you is how to weight a public sector strategy map, in this case for a PUD. I'm going to show it to you in a format using Excel, but of course you could do this on a whiteboard or flip chart paper. The idea is this: we have the overall strategic objective and the strategy map laid out in advance of the session. What we now need to do is, on the Excel sheet, put each strategic objective on its own row. And we'll create enough space over here so that for each participant, we can note down their score. We're going to break it up into two sections. Of course, the first section is just weight the 4 perspectives. We outline to them the 4 guidelines and then say, this is the numeracy part of the quiz. You got to come up with 4 numbers that add up to 100%. And as and we give them a minute or two to fill that in. Once they've done that, we then begin keying these in using a projector so everyone can see. So in this case, you can see that there's a fair disparity in the scores with an average of 18. So for example, on the stakeholder perspective, it ranges from as high as 30% to as low as 10. Down here, we go from 40% to something as low as 25. And the next perspective, called catalysts in their case, we go from 50% down to 30. And then finally, down here on financial, as low as 10 and as high as 20. Now, part of the conversation is a facilitation around what the score distribution is. In fact, it's often fun to say, I bet you wish you knew what the final answer was. Because this distribution of scores shows that day to day people are making decisions based on a completely different criteria. The other thing that we do is we have the leader vote last so that their score is over here on the right and doesn't bias any of the preceding scores. What we typically do is we invite the highest scores and the low scores at each level to tell us why they scored it that way and help them to try to influence the rest of the team to understand their logic. We also, of course, post up there the average, and that helps people sort of coalesce around what the overall group is thinking. Eventually, we're going to come up with a proposal about the overall score. In this case, you can see that we came up with a score of 20, 30, 40, and 10. If I pop back a second, you'll see that this is different than the average, but not significantly different in this particular case. In some cases, you might find a significant difference. Doesn't matter. The net is they all need to participate, voice their opinion, and at the end of the day, delete all the scores, erase them off the board. They're done. The agreement now is 20, 30, 40, 10, and we can move on to the next step from here. To learn more about this concept and others, please join us at pm2consulting.com.